Glorious!
Glorious!
Had to do it again.
Yes, one last time.
Welcome, guys, to the NXT show. You're up. You're next.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about NXT Takeover in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Overall, it was a very, very good show. They had a lot of match of the night matches, including the tag team match, the Bobby Roode match, and especially the main event match. But we'll run through the card and then we'll start giving our opinions. So,
starting off with the Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger match. The perfect 10 was amazingly glorious the whole night there. Like, literally, the match was the most perfect way to start off the night. You kick off the night with two of the hottest pops in NXT right now, and they're both from Canada, and you're in Canada.
Yep.
You can't lose with that. That's a great way of how to start a match, and that's one way of how I see NXT is way better than the main roster when it comes to the pay-per-views.
Exactly, and one thing that I thought that was pretty funny before Roode and Ty Dillinger went and fought and everything was when they had the chorus singing "Glorious." I thought that was pretty interesting and cool.
That was pretty as hell. I didn't think they would go that far. You know, like bring some WrestleMania theme type of themes for the NXT. But that's great though. Yeah. Like it's really great because it shows how much that you bring these people into development, but then you realize people in development are just as good as the main roster. It's all based off of who likes who and what works where.
Exactly, and the next match we saw was the TM61 versus the Authors of Pain. Now, this match was good and all that. I'm not a big fan of the Authors of Pain because it just seemed like all they just go out there and do is squash people, but it made sense why they won the Dusty finish because they've been undefeated since they came on board, so it only made sense for them to win. I mean, many fans aren't going to agree with it, but that makes sense why they won.
Yeah, I'm one of the that don't agree with it. I see it like this. The Authors of Pain, they're kind of like what the Ascension was supposed to be the right way. They're a group of two big guys held back behind a manager who's also a Hall of Famer at that. So you got those two mixed about, and they got an undefeated streak. I hate to say it actually was a smart idea from booking. It was something that like not many people would think because everybody would think that TM61 will come through, you know, somehow end the undefeated streak as well as win the classic. But I admit it was a little bit of a slow type of match throughout NXT's night. I will admit that was the weakest match of it all, but it was still good.
Right. And another match that I really enjoyed a lot throughout the entire show was the tag title match between the Revival and DIY. So much back and forth. Oh my god, so much back and forth. It was incredible, and especially at the end where they were all telling each other to don't tap out, but they wound up giving in to tapping out.
They was holding each other's hands just like, don't tap.
Oh my god. Oh, that was so funny. I loved that match so badly. And at first, they had a lot of back and forth going about it. First, it looked like DIY was going to get the victory. Then it looked like the Revival was going to get the victory. And the back and forth in this match was incredible. And that's what I like to see in WWE and NXT matches. Just keep the back and forth going and so forth. And now on to the next match, which is the NXT Women's Championship match. Now, overall, this was a good match though. However, the one thing that shocked me at the end was Mickie James tapping out so quickly to the Asuka lock. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer to tap out, but
You gotta remember at the end of the day, when you come to WWE's audience, they see it as like, if you were somebody who came from an older era, they see you as an older wrestler, you know, you've been through the time, you ain't been around, you ain't been doing shit much, you know, like Goldberg and all them and shit. So for Mickie James to pop back up, not much people were suspecting that. And I don't know, maybe it was just me, but when Mickie James was coming out during the night, it didn't really look like she had much of a pop. It seemed like the crowd was really dead, and it's like, NXT is literally the most alive crowd that you have in wrestling today.
Right.
Like, no matter who comes out, no matter what happens, they support. They even support all the jobbers that come out every single week trying to get their official contract. And it's good. It's good, but I felt bad about that though for Mickie James. But the match nonetheless was great. I'm a huge Asuka fan. Once I seen that she first came to NXT, I was like, she's not losing. And I've kept to that thought. She's been undefeated, and now she has a notch in her belt, being undefeated and defeated a legend who was pretty much a 6-time women's champion.
Right.
And Mickey's not a slouch. She's not a slouch. I'll tell you that now. It was weird But I feel like it was a great way to how the match went in transition, because at the end of the day, Asuka actually looked like she was worried. She looked like she didn't come out. She wasn't going to come out and win.
Right.
But then for Mickie James just to end up tapping out so fast, it showed that at the end of the day, fear ain't nothing when you a champion. When you're a champion, you're going to make it through no matter what.
Right. And the other thing that we see a little bit of a difference of an attitude from Asuka was when Mickie James offered to shake Asuka's hand, she raised the bell and showed some disrespect towards her, which I'm suspicious to lead if this is going into Asuka becoming a heel at this point, which I suspected it.
It makes sense, because a lot of times, like, not much people notice it, but a lot of companies, when you have a wrestler come in and they end up having an undefeated streak, they end up turning in the middle of their undefeated streak. Like in TNA, Samoa Joe did that. In WCW, Goldberg did that. Whether y'all notice it or not, he actually did make a heel switch while he was in WCW. It's okay. Just go back to the network. It's only $9.99.
Right.
Anyway, but it's like, that's really what I've been seeing as a trend with wrestling a lot. Like undefeated streaks, you'll have a turn in the middle, but it's good though. It keeps it alive. It keeps you interested, and plus, Asuka's been made a switch. She slowly appeared with that whole dancing with the mask and now and shit. So I think that works, because in the ring lately, she didn't actually get cocky as hell in the ring.
Right.
Like all of her matches, she's been dancing a little bit more, and Asuka doesn't look like somebody that should be dancing.
Right, exactly. And once they do plant the heel turn with Asuka, I'm actually interested to see how the rest of the competition is going to be for her going forward. And now on to the very last match between Nakamura and Samoa Joe. I have to say, this was a very good match. I was very, very shocked to see Nakamura getting his very first NXT defeat. My first impression was, could this be the end of Nakamura's time in NXT, or is it just to build a feud further with Samoa Joe getting called to the main roster?
I feel like it's possibly close to the end for Nakamura, because alright, let's face it, Nakamura's a legend in Japan, hands down. You can tell he got some age in him, so it's kind of like, I see it as this. They're going to do him like how they did Kevin Owens when he first came, come around, make a name, get the belt, leave, and go straight to the main roster and make a statement. I mean, I wouldn't be too shocked. I wouldn't be appalled to the idea, because it's like, slowly they've been making sure that all their big stars who've been brought up into the roster is actually doing good. They haven't been doing that much, but they've been doing it now, and it's good. Yeah. So, and plus, let's face it, we all want to see Nakamura in the main roster. His theme song is addictive in NXT. Like every time I come out with before the whole match, the violins. There was about like 20. There was about like 12 to 20 violinists all around the arena. Just.
I have something to say about that too. Be honest, I felt like it was a little bit overdone towards the end of his entrance, where they were too crowded all at once. And to tell you the truth, the violins were nothing like how it was in NXT Brooklyn, when the violin guy was actually playing with his violins, and these guys were just playing an act with the whole thing. It wasn't even legit.
I'm not like I've actually found out the background story of that. The thing was, all of them was playing. The problem was, whoever was doing the sound check actually did not record the sound. So as each of them are coming out creatively and everything, their mics is all set. The problem was, whoever was the sound guy screwed up and didn't let the violinists have their violins be heard. So all 20 of them, no matter how nice you think they could have sounded, you didn't hear one bit of them. But I watch a lot of Botchamania. Side note, so I like to watch whenever they mess up in the ring. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but if you look closely in the entrance towards the end of Nakamura's entrance, you see all the violinists. Look to the violinist on the right corner, the bottom right of the screen. His violin's broke.
Oh, wow.
The string on the bar is broken. I don't know if anybody knows it, but he's still acting like he's playing. But the thing is, the string is broken, and it's literally hanging off the side of it. And like it's funny, because when I saw it, I started laughing. I was just like, damn, they ruined Nakamura's. It's almost been perfect. Wow. But that's just me. I'm a guy who will see little details. But like he said, the matchup between Samoa Joe and Nakamura was a great match. It was perfect the way it went. They had anger. It was brutality. It was back and forthness, and it was a twist, because not much people would suspect a big star who had a strong fighting style to come into the company, make a name for herself, win the title, and then end up losing the title in his first defense. That's the biggest thing that threw me off. But once again, that's good. WWE has not noticed that, but it's good. Having different change, switch up some shit sometimes. Sometimes you don't always need to have a heel do some dirty ass shit in order to have a mix. Sometimes it's just normal in-ring play. Because really, if you look closer at the match, Samoa Joe's a heel, but at the end of the day, Samoa Joe didn't even use really heel tactics. He didn't. It was just straight aggression and force. And now he's a two-time NXT champion, Samoa Joe. Now, like I said, indie fan, so seeing this constantly has literally made wrestling the most enjoyable to me.
Yeah, and speaking of him being a two-time champion, this was the very first time anybody in NXT has ever held the world champion twice in their career at NXT.
I mean, I've noticed that actually with NXT, they've been trying to do a lot of different things with their belts, like Asuka being the undefeated champion running out through the year, the Revival, first ever two-time tag team champs, and actually doing it right. And then you got Nakamura, who came in with the biggest pop. Everybody thought his reign was going to last at least like half a year, just to get stopped in one night. And then for Samoa Joe to pop up and be a two-time champion, I wasn't thinking Samoa Joe to be the two-time champion candidate. Yeah. But it's like all these different things happen in NXT. It's teaching us something. You really need to take a left lane when you're doing in the wrestling business. So I feel like it's actually a great thing they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know right now, like, this is the NXT part of the show, and I sound like a huge ass mark for NXT, but I don't give a damn. I see it as this. I enjoyed the wrestling over the years. I know quality and taste. I'm not looking for the greatest. I'm not looking for every match to get a 5-star.
Exactly.
I'm just looking for structure, order, and things that make sense.
I second that.
And NXT has done that. Every rivalry has made sense. Every anger has made sense. Every move has made sense. Everything they did has made sense with a clear twist. WWE on the main roster, on the other hand, all their storylines sound like they're giving up. Because let's face it, Charlotte against Sasha. In the main episode, I was meaning to want to pop up and say something about this so badly. Stop it. We have a whole roster of like straight talented women, both in the NXT and the main roster. On the main shows, we are literally carrying 6 people at a show.
About that.
6 people at a show each, and you're telling me the only rivalry y'all can stick to for Raw, having this big title and such a big roster. You got Nia Jax, you got the crazy Alicia Fox, and you got Bayley, the hugger. You're wasting it with a simple rivalry over and over again between Charlotte and Sasha. It's great, but you're overdoing it. I'm sorry. I might not be invested into it anymore. That's my thing. I feel like as soon as possible, they need to cut this rivalry, finish it off, decide who's going to hold the belt, and move on to a new opponent. How about Dana Brooke? Make her turn her back on, make her somehow win a number 1 contendership, turn her back on Charlotte, and I promise you, Dana Brooke is dry as hell, but you'll actually give her some pop right there.
Yeah, but it all depends on how they pursue her character from there, so... And it all depends on the build-up too, so I can't say she would win the title this soon, but maybe somewhere in the future.
Yeah, and it's just a random thought. It's just, you guys have WWE has a great roster. Like, utilize it. That's all I'm saying. Utilize it.
Yeah, I second that. And B's pretty much wrapped up everything I was willing to say too, so overall, to conclude things, like I said before, I think NXT Takeover was a very good show. I very much enjoyed it myself, and I look forward to what they do with the next NXT Takeover. So, on that note, everybody, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight, and stay tuned for next week for our wonderful episode once again.
Like, subscribe, kick out. You're next.